you know, woman in the heavens. And the thing is, what we need to understand, she will give birth. Now, quite interesting for today is that I want to let people know that today is the last quarter moon. So now understand the pattern of the 9th of Av and the 15th of Av, that has the significance of holidays, proceeded from proceeded, and now it's the last quarter moon is today. So that could be a significant factor of birth might be taking place tonight. But maybe, I can't promise you. But the thing is, I'm just watching God's pattern and seeing how he's going to orchestrate his, his will. It's called his will. We are here to discover his will, not our will. But the topic of the message, very important idea of understanding people. What makes people who they are, See, here's what Satan wants you to believe concerning about people. That people are bad. Satan wants you to see people are more likely bad people. He wants to label people that do bad things bad people. But really, the truth of every individual is that people that unfortunately learn the wrong idea of how they should live their life. You know what I'm saying? They have been influenced the wrong idea of how they live their life. It's how the correct way we're supposed to look at people. Because here's the thing that God showed me. It's simple. Now, it's called the bottle. I call it bottleology. You know what I'm saying? Now, God created and made us in his image and his likeness of God. That's the bottle. Now, did God create a bad bottle or a good bottle? You know what I'm saying? Well, the Bible says when he created male and female, he created, and at the end, he said it was very good. Good, very good. But the ideal, of course, we know Genesis 3, that the serpent deceived Eve and then deceived Adam. And now sin entered inside men, or entered inside the bottle. See what I'm saying? That pattern right there is supposed to help us understand that we are influenced to do what's wrong. If we're going to be doing what's wrong, it's going to be based upon influence, because it took influence concerning of the serpent for Eve to eat the fruit of knowledge and good and evil. And it's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, to say that people are bad is the idea of saying that God created something bad. Yeah. No, he didn't create something bad in the beginning. He created something good in the beginning. But now the influence that is going on around the world is based upon, of course, 2 Corinthians 4:4, in whom the God of this world, that's blinding the minds of men, of them which believe it not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God. See, notice Paul talks about the image of God should shine unto them. He said the image of God. Didn't say the image of Satan. He said the image of God. So therefore, every human being on this earth right now that is doing something based upon darkness, they're being influenced by Satan. And Satan, the God of this world, has blinded their minds. And according to Ephesians, it talks about that, blinded our hearts, pretty much lightly. Blinding our hearts. And as it talks about, not just in Ephesians 4, I believe, it talks about blind the hearts. It talks about what Jesus said in Matthew 13, that they have eyes but they can't see, they have ears that they can't hear, neither do they understand in their heart. As more likely they have blind, they're like your heart got eyes and your heart got ears, that we don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? What Jesus is trying to show us in that ideal parable, that we have our eyes, our heart got eyes and our heart got ears in that, and they're the blind ones. You know what I'm saying? They're and that's where our spirit dwell at, pretty much. Our spirit dwell definitely in our hearts, and how we conduct ourselves concerning the kind of people we are. Are we of the light or are we of darkness? That we need to understand this idea that influence is what makes people bad. Not so much, because I told people, majority of kids 5 and 6 years old, when they responding well, no majority of kids are not like, okay, let me go kill somebody, let me go shoot somebody, let me go, they're not like, trying to grab a gun. They don't even know what a gun is. And the thing is, but the ideal of that kind of that influence is what I'm solidifying. Pretty much what I'm saying is that they don't even know about the idea of distinguishing light and darkness, or right or wrong, but they will start getting hints as we're supposed to give them the instructions of what life is all about. No, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Well, we're supposed to raise and teach their kids what's right and wrong is supposed to be the makeup of the kind of person that a person is. Now watch this. If the person lack instructions from a father and a mother, that person can become the result of falling in themselves, doing negative or dark things, sinful activity because of what's lack unto that person. And the thing is, we need to understand that is the dynamics. If we see a bad person, we shouldn't address, because everybody like, oh, you bad, you bad, you bad, you bad, you bad. Instead of not just researching and analyzing where the person, where the person get his influence, who taught them this, who taught them to do this, like that, why are you doing this? Unless we investigate, that God taught me that love investigates the individual. Love don't just say, oh, you're a bad person, bam, I'm not going to like you because you're a bad person. That's not love. Love will investigate the individual and find out where the individual is at, and find out why does the individual do what they do concerning something negative. And that's what true love will do. But lust will see things from the flesh and see negative actions towards an individual, and they will classify the person as a bad person because of their negative actions that they continually watching them do. You know what I'm saying? That then they put it on the person, or more likely, I made an example about the bottle. They put it on the bottle instead of what's inside of the container. Like, for instance, a beer bottle doesn't make you drunk, but the alcohol that is inside the drink makes a person drunk. You know what I'm saying? A beer bottle is a container. It's the same idea. We are a container, or as what 2 Corinthians 4 saying, we are vessels. It says in the 7th verse, but we have this treasure in earthly vessels. We are vessels. You know what I'm saying? It's addressing that we are vessels, that we can contain something. We can contain either darkness or we can contain light. You know what I'm saying? We are the containers. But up to what the influence that we are influenced by will determine how much we will contain, whether it's light, the light of the divine, or what 1 Corinthians talking about the light that it says in the 6th verse, for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness had shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. That the knowledge, the light of the knowledge of God that is supposed to be in our hearts. And that's what really Jesus was talking about in Matthew 13. That we need to understand that we are containers. Our heart is a container, but what is contained in our heart will be the response of every individual. Like Jesus said, love the Lord thy God. First thing he said, with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. And and what happens is when you do that, it will facilitate the action of loving your neighbor as you love yourself. When you start with the heart, you know what I'm saying? When you start with the place that is a container that will contain things, and how much what we responsible and we put in this container concerning negative influence and godly influence is going to proceed our procedure of how long we're going to do it. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like, I like to use the car, for instance. How much we do not put gas in it as how bad it's going to perform. You know what I'm saying? Or how much we put gas in it. You know what I'm saying? That, because the thing is, the ideal of darkness means nothing. It means nothing that you put nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? Like people that do sin is like people magnify people that do sin, but really people that do sin is a people that do something based upon out of nothing. You are doing nothing because nothing is inside you, because it's pertaining in the ideal of darkness. So therefore, you're not doing something that is something. But of course, Satan wants you to believe that the principalities and the powers and the rules of darkness in this world, concerning how they influence, everybody, wants you to believe you're doing something when you're doing nothing, when you're doing the ideal of sin. Is they trying to convince you with all their, of course, television, radio, and the environment, they're trying to convince you that keep on doing nothing, that you're doing something. But the ideal of light is something. Light is a substance of energy that comes at you. It comes bold. It's a bold energy that I say is interfere with wherever it's at, like in space. It light shines in it. Whatever is a reflection, it's going to reflect. It's going to come at you. You know what I'm saying? It's a substance that is alive, that is a true power source that we need, that Paul is describing in 1 Corinthians 4, that we're supposed to, as Christians, operate it. Because here's the thing I tell people: the reason why the world is bad is not a dark problem, it's a light problem. It's the same ideal. If I cut off these lights right now, you will not see me. You know what I'm saying? But if many things that are going wrong in this earth right now is because darkness is reigning over it. But if we click the switch and the light comes on and light drives out darkness, then things will get better in the way it's supposed to be. It's the idea of, we're supposed to be seeking after divine influence and helping others, encourage people to seek divine influence is how we save them. And that's what explains the idea what Jesus says in Matthew 5:4 that's difficult for people to say. Love your enemies. Bless those that curse you. Pray for them that spitefully use you, because you're shining a light within their darkness. You know what I'm saying? When you shine a light within their darkness, you help the individual, help them to see that light is more better than the darkness that is going on inside them. Is how, influence is supposed to play a role. Not so much of people. People are created in the image and likeness of God. It's the influence that makes people bad all the way, back in the garden. Eve was influenced to eat the tree. That's what brought deception. That we need to see that we stop going against flesh and blood and start going against the principalities and the powers and the rules of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places, of their influence that they have, tricked and deceived people to follow a negative system that is bringing destruction in this world, confusion, conflict, and chaos, that we need to start bringing the peace of God that passeth all understanding to rectify the situation. All right, that's the message. I hope you got it, and I hope you understand it's the influence and not the people. To God be the glory, him forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen.